backgrounds differ based upon how we were raised. Some of us have been exposed to the Black Deaf ASL community. Some of us have had less exposure to this community. We have a unique way of expressing ourselves. Our race, our culture, how we feel is shown when we communicate.
People who use Black ASL typically show more facial expressions. I can see their, let's say their attitude or their personality, their swag. I can also see their body language and how they express what they want to say.
I can't imagine life without Black ASL. When I see Black deaf people in their element with each other, there's just a richness to it that is indescribable.
I've heard people say, I would like to know more about it. What is it? And it just shows that they're not aware of what Black ASL is. I can't be upset with them because they don't know, Because in the world where we use sign language, there's always something new to learn.
The number one myth is that it's universal, that a deaf person in China should be able to, for some magical reason, communicate with a deaf person in Nebraska. In the same way that we have manner of articulation and place of articulation and voicing or not and so forth, we have the same kind of things going on with signs. And so there's hand shape, location, palm orientation, facial expression, and so forth. Black ASL is one variety in that system. And it has, its parts are used somewhat differently, which sets it apart from what white folks might do.
Growing up, I knew how we communicated using sign, but we didn't know what we did naturally was considered a language. But when I first saw the term Black ASL, I thought, it's like Ebonics. We use Ebonics within the Black deaf community. We have our own version of Ebonics.
Black ASL paints pictures and expresses messages in ways that just bring another layer and another flavor to the whole notion of what Black language is.
It's more flexible. It really draws people in, and it includes us relating to each other soul to soul. I don't know how to explain it, but when people really want to connect with one another, when you leave a conversation where you've been in Black ASL, you have energy, you feel inspired.
Sometimes you can't even translate into words. It's just, you get it. It's not saying you have to be Black to understand. Maybe some areas, yeah. But it's you, your background, your upbringing, the style people use, what they say, the accent, sometimes even dialect. Incorporated in signs, you actually see that.
Before the Civil War, there were no Black deaf schools in the South, for obvious reasons. There was no formal education for Black people in the South. And that included Black deaf people. But after the Civil War, we started to see the emergence of schools for Black and deaf people.
The war ended in 1865. It still took until 1869 for a school for Black kids to be opened in Raleigh, as a matter of fact. Louisiana didn't even have a school for Black deaf kids until 1938. And then it took them until 1978 to desegregate.